With the new addition of Guan Yu's museum buff coming into the game, I want to talk about whether or not this makes Guan Yu viable in Season of Conquest for a commander that you should be investing into, or if he is still a commander to be wary about investing into in 2024. If you guys are new here, this is Gainz Gaming. We make Rise of Kingdoms content, and I actually used to be an infantry main, so Guan Yu was one of my first investments in infantry in Season of Conquest. Now, when we look into the museum, obviously there are a lot of different commanders that are being added into here with pretty decent buffs, and there will also be some other commanders that have new buffs coming into the game as well that we will also cover in this video. But as you can see here, we don't see him yet, but Guan Yu will be added into the museum buff as of their last update, and we also have the amount of stats that he'll be gaining. So as you can see here, Guan Yu will be getting an additional 5% infantry attack and 10% infantry defense added onto his skill kit. Now, this is not absurd, but it does obviously help. Now, one of the most common commanders that Guan is paired with, Leonidas, is also getting a skill bonus, is going to gain a 5% march speed to infantry, as well as a 5% normal damage reduction. Now, I wish that this was Guan's bonus, because I think this would actually be better for Guan than what he got with 10% defense and 5% attack. Simply because Guan is pretty slow, and most people use Guan in Scipio, which doesn't have the most amount of march speed. So having an additional 5% march speed would have been amazing. However, I'm not going to complain about an additional 10% defense or 5% attack because I use Guan Yu. But does this make Guan Yu usable or investable in 2024? Personally, I would still be very hesitant, mainly because we are most likely going to be getting new infantry coming into the game very soon. Now, in Rise of Kingdoms official video, they did show silhouettes of the new commanders coming into the game very soon. These are speculated to be infantry commanders because they are the next ones that should be coming up. So with that being said, I would definitely be hesitant about investing into Guan Yu in 2024 until we know what the new infantry commanders are going to look like. Similarly, when we were talking about new cav commanders coming into the game, you're like, okay, hold up. Don't invest into cavalry until we know what the new calves are going to look like. Like, don't invest into William until we know what the new calves look like, which Belisarius, in my opinion, kind of a bust for most players. I don't think most players should invest into him unless you are a big whale that's going to be swarming a lot of things. I don't think that he is required in Season of Conquest for most players. I think William is a better commander than Belisarius, and you'd be better off investing in William at 5551 than expertising Belisarius, because I think you actually get a bigger benefit to William in your murder ball than Belisarius in your murder ball if you're an open field player, and the amount of gold heads you have to spend to get it usable. So I think we need to take that same kind of precaution when we are talking about infantry, because Guan Yu is old, guys. Guan Yu is extremely old. I mean, I unlocked him in 2021, but he is one of the oldest infantry commanders in the game, like extremely old. I don't think people realize how old Guan Yu is. And so when we talk about investing in Guan Yu, I would certainly be extremely hesitant because of just his age. And he is due to be replaced. Out of all these commanders, I mean, the only other one that people still use today that could be replaced is Alex. And the only viability, in my opinion, that Guan Yu brings to the table right now that nobody else has besides Epic Herman is silences. Like, Guan Yu is the only commander that really has a silence, and it is extremely good because it is an AoE silence. So that is why people still use Guan Yu. That's why I use Guan Yu. I don't use him to do a ton of kills in the field. I do it to silence the enemies. Now, he does do decent in kills, not the best, but you know, he's maybe like middle tier in my rankings of like the most kills out of my commanders. He kind of lands like toward the bottom of the middle. So he's a decent commander. He's moderate, but he's not like a meta commander right now. Versus like if somebody asked me, should I invest into Luce? I would not tell them like, oh, I'd wait until we get the new infantry. I would say, yes, invest in Luce. Or if they ask me about Scipio, yes, invest in Scipio. I don't think that's a bad investment, even if the new infantry are very good, because I don't think they're going to be better than Scipio or better than Luce, because these two commanders, in my opinion, are by far the two best infantry commanders in the game without a shadow of a doubt. And in my opinion, Luce is the best commander in the game, and Scipio is probably the third best commander in the game behind Joan Prime. Now, I think like my top 3, top 4, top 5 commanders, like you could really put them in many different orders. I think regardless, Luce is number 1, but you know, I think Scipio, you could mark him as 2, you could mark him as 3, you could mark him as 4. I think the other two commanders in the mix are going to be Herman Prime and Joan Prime. Obviously, prime commanders are extremely good. That's why a lot of people were disappointed with Belisarius Prime, myself included. I expected him to be very good. I was hoping he was going to be really good, but he is okay. Obviously not meta, but he's not bad either. He's still a good investment, but there are better things available in cavalry. Just like I think in infantry, there are better things available than Guan Yu, and I don't think that his museum buff really changes the game in his viability in Season of Conquest. I do think that he's still usable, 100%. I'm still going to use him until there's a replacement, but I am certainly open to replacing Guan Yu if the chance arises. So, like, if these two new commanders come in and one of them has a silence, goodbye Guan Yu, because it's probably going to be better than Guan Yu. However, I don't know if they're going to add a different silence in the game, but I would be very interested to see what you guys think. If you guys think they're going to add another silence in the game, or if it's just going to be Guan Yu, because I do think that's how they keep Guan Yu relevant. However, if you release an infantry commander that also has a silence on top of Guan Yu, then I think more people are going to invest into this new commander and spend more gold heads, which is better for Lilith as well, because it makes people spend more money. And people are going to be like, okay, well, now this commander is better than Guan Yu. It's like Guan Yu 2.0. So now I need this other commander. So I think that could be definitely likely as well. I personally have almost 1,800 gold heads, and I don't know what to do with them right now. I am for sure going to be maxing out Herman Prime before our next KVK. That is a given for me. 100% going to be doing that. But I'll have an additional, 1,000 or 1,100 heads to use up. So the new infantry, I'll most likely be maxing as well, if they are better than Guan Yu or better than Alexander the Great. But right now, I'm pretty happy with my infantry lineup. Like right now, I'm running Guan Incipio and Luce Alex. I'm very happy with that pairing. So if we see new infantry that's like just okay, and it's not better than Guan Yu, I might almost just max my Guan Yu at this point, because like having the expertise is amazing, but I don't want to do that if better infantry commanders are coming into the game. And as of right now, it's like an extra maybe 200-300 gold heads for me, which I have plenty of excess, and I don't really think I need to fix my pairings all that much more, because like if I show you my pairings I'm going to be using, I like have every single meta pairing. Like I'm going to have Zhuge and Herman. I will have Guan and Scipio. I have Hugh and William. I also have Nevsky or Joan Nevsky, and then Luce Alex. Like I pretty much every single pairing I want. I'm not going to do a 6 March, so I don't need to invest into a 6 March with that. So it would just be upgrading these pairings, which the two ways I can do that is by maxing William or by maxing Guan Yu. And I think maxing Guan Yu is a bigger benefit than maxing William for me. So we'll have to see what it looks like when these new commanders arrive in the game. But before we end the video, I do want to talk about the other commanders that are getting a bigger bonus in the museum buffs, and actually kind of talk about them as well before we wrap up the video. So one commander that is getting a bonus is Thutmose III, going from 15% attack and 15% archer health, all the way up to 45% attack and 20% health. Also, El Cid is going from 10% archer attack and 150 extra active skill damage factor, all the way up to 35% archer attack and 300 active skill damage factor. And last but certainly not least, YSG is going from 20% archer defense and 5% skill damage to 20% archer defense and 12% skill damage. That extra 7% skill damage is honestly insane. And I honestly cannot believe they're giving him that big of a bonus, because this is already really, really good. So adding an additional 7% skill damage is insane. And like thinking back to my last KVK where you're able to use YSG as like a secondary to cavalry and get cav stats, like the artifact or whatever that thing was called where you could basically change the stats, that was the craziest thing ever. Like I was running Hookabing in YSG and it was like 10 times better than Luce Alex, which is saying something. Like it was by far the best march on the field because YSG was just doing so much damage with cavalry, and an additional 7% skill damage on top of that, that just is going to break the game. So I'm excited to see, what all comes into this with future KVKs and, being able to change things around. But let me know what you guys think down below about Guan Yu and whether or not you think that he is going to be replaced, or if you think you should invest in him. Like I said, I personally think that you should wait until we see the new infantry before investing in a Guan. But if you are just entering Season of Conquest and trying to invest into infantry, I would highly recommend that you look toward Luce and Scipio far before you look into Guan Yu, because these are the two best infantry commanders in the game without a shadow of a doubt. They're actually the best pairing in the game as of right now. Scipio primary and Luce secondary is by far the best march in the game right now of any troop type. So if you are looking for the best march in the game or one march for infantry, it is 100% Scipio and Luce. Guan Yu is not even in the discussion for that. But thank you guys for checking out the video. Have a great rest of your day.